Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 9 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 9 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter radical functions and equations. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I am on grade 9 math. The chapter is radical functions and equations. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is solve radical equations. So let's just start with the first lesson. Okay, let's just start with the first example, that is solve for k. 9 equals square root k, right? You have to calculate the value of k, right? You have a square root on k. First of all, you have to remove that square root. You have to take square root both sides. You have to take square root both sides. No, hold on. You have to square both sides, right? 2 and square root cancel, you are left with k, and 9 square equals 81. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, square root n equals 19. You have to calculate the value of n, right? But you have a square root. You can remove the square root by squaring both sides, right? 2 and square root cancel out, you are left with n equals 19 square, right? That is 361. The correct option is the correct option is 361. Solve for g. That is 10 equals square root g, right? You have to calculate the value of g only, right? So you need to remove that square root. That means you must square both sides. So 2 and square root cancel out, you are left with g equals 100, right? The correct option is 100. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. The correct option is g equals 100. Okay, solve for k. 9 equals square root k, right? You need to calculate the value of k only. So just do square both sides. 2 and square root cancel out, you are left with k equals 9 square equals 81. So the correct option is 81, right? The correct option is 81. What's wrong with the whiteboard? 81 it is. Okay, the next question you have to do on your notebook and write the answer in the chat box. The next one is square root u equals 1.2. So which is the correct option? The correct option is 1.44, right? Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, solve for h. So which is the correct option? Yes, that is 289. The correct option is 289. Got it? Okay, the next one is solve for w. W square root w equals 1 over 11. So which is the correct option? Yes, the correct option is w equal 1 over 121. Option number 1 is the correct option. Solve for f square root. F equals 2, which is the correct option? Square root f equals 2, which is the correct option? The correct option is f equals 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, solve for m. The correct option is 0.36 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is evaluate a radical function. Okay, use the following function rule to find f of 2. You have to calculate f of 2, right? That means you need to evaluate the function for f of 2. You need to replace all the x with 2, right? So when you replace the x with 2, just look at the example. F of x equals 2 square root 2 plus x, right? So replace the x with 2, so that is f of 2 equals 2 and square root 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So square root 4 equals 2, right? Because 2 square equals 4, so square root 4 is opposite to square. So square root 4 equals 2, so that is 2 times 2, so f of 2 equals, let's just start with the test questions. Solve the following equation rule to find f of 102, right? So you have to evaluate for f of 102. The function is f of x equals 10 square root 166 minus x, right? And you have to evaluate in 102. You can replace all the x with 102. So 10 square root 166 minus 102. So just evaluate, right? That is f of 102. That is 10. 166 minus 102 is 64, right? And you can write 64 as square root of 64 equals 8 times 8. You can write it as 8 square, 2 and square root cancel out. You are left with 10 times 8, and 10 times 8 equals 80. The correct option is 80. F of 102 equals 80. Got it? The correct option is 80. Okay, the next one is use the following function rule to find f of x equals 3 square root x plus 58. You have to evaluate at x equals 6, right? So simply replace the x equals 6, that would be 3 square root 6 plus 58. So 58 plus 6 is 58, 59, 64 it is. 3 square root 64 and 60 square root 64 equals, that is square root 64 equals 8. So that is 3 times 8, and 3 times 8 is, Yes, the correct option is 3 times 8 equal 24. So the correct option is 24. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, now you have to evaluate the question in your notebook and just write down the answer in the chat box. So, which is the correct option? So, replace, you need to calculate the function is f of x equals 10 square root x plus 2. You have to evaluate at f of 2. So, replace the x with 2. The correct option is, which is the correct option? Yes, that is 20, because when you replace x by 2, 2 plus 2 makes 4, right? And square root 4 equals 2, so 10 times 2 equal 20. The correct option is 20. Use the following function to evaluate f of 123, which is the correct option. The correct option is replace the x with 123. So 123 plus 21 equals 144, I think. Yes, 144 it is. And square root 144 equals, and square root 144 equals 12. You already have 12 there. So 12 times 12 equals 144. Option number 1 is the correct option. Use the following function rule to find f of 2. So 4 square root x plus 47. So which is the correct option? Yes, that is square root 49. Square root 49 is 7, and 7 times 4 is 28. So the correct option is 28. The next one is solve the following function rule to find f of 3. You need to replace x with 3. So which is the correct option? Yes, that is 3 times 3 equals 9. The correct option is 9, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson, and the next lesson is domain and range of radical functions. Okay, what is the range of the function? Okay, the range of the function is the set of all possible y values, right? Domain is the x values and range is all the y values, right? The smallest y value on the graph is at the end point. Here it is, like here you have the graph is 0. All the other points on the graph appear above the end point where y is greater than 0. The all values from here to this point, these are the values that are greater than 0, right? So that means y belongs to y such that y is greater than equal to, let's just start with the practice questions. What is the domain of the function? Domain is all the x values, right? The range is the y values and domain is all the, so just look at the options. You can see the values is are starting from the origin, right? Starting from 0 and going until 10, that means all the values are less than 0, negative values. You can see here all the x values are negative, so that would be x belong to x such that x is equal to 0, right? Option number 4 is the correct option. D is the correct option, right? The last one. X belongs to x such that x is less than equal to 0. That is the last one. What is the domain of the function? What is the domain of this function? You have to evaluate the domain. Domain is all the x values, right? The function is starting from origin, the graph, right? And only all the x values are negative. So that would be x is greater than equal to 0. Option number 2 is the correct option. X such that x is greater than equal to 0. No less values, less is s x is less than equal to 0. The last D option is the correct option because you can see the graph is on the negative side of the x. So all the x values are negative. So the domain is x belongs to x such that x is less than equal to 0. Got it? Okay, what is the range of the function? Which is the correct option? The graph is passing through the origin, right? And the values are on the positive side. That means y belongs to y and y is greater than equal to 0. Option number 3 is the correct option. So the correct one is C. Yes, the correct option is the graph is starting from the 5, right? So that would be x belongs to x such that x is less than 5, and also all the negative values. The graph is going down, so that would be option number 3, x such that x is less than 5. Option number less than equal to 5. Option number A is the correct option, not D, right? Option number, what is the domain of this function? Which is the correct option? The graph is starting from x equals negative 1 and increasing on the positive side, right? That means x such that x is greater than equal to negative 1. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson, and the next lesson is solve radical equations part 2. Okay, we are given with the radical equations we have to solve. Let's just start with the test question. The first one is solve for y. So square root 2y equals square root negative 8 plus 3y. So both sides have square root, right? You need to evaluate it for v. You need to calculate the value of v. Just square both sides. 2 and square root cancel, 2 and square root cancel, right? You are left with 2v equals negative 8 plus 3v, right? Move 2v other side, 8 equals 3v minus 2v. 3v minus 2v is v and v equals 8. So the correct option is v equals 8. The correct option is v equals 8. The next one, okay, it's the same. The next one is solve for t. Let's just solve for t, that is just square both sides, right? Negative 8t plus 1 and square root negative 90. Square root, just evaluate the square both sides, right? 2 and square root cancel, 2 and square root cancel. You are left with negative 8t plus 1 equals negative 90. So move 90 other side, that is negative 8t plus 90 equals negative 1. So 9 minus 8 is t equals negative 1. The correct option is t equals negative 1, right? For the next one, you have to use your notebook and pencil, solve the question and write the answer in the chat box. The correct option is t equals negative 1. The next one is negative 5r square root equals square root negative 4 minus 7r, which is the correct option. The correct option is, yes, the correct option is negative 2. Option number 2 is the correct option. The next one is you have to solve for p. So just square both sides. Which is the correct option? Yes, that is p equals negative 1. The correct option is negative 1. 1. Yes, it is p equals negative 1. Sorry, I did a mistake. That is p equals negative 1. The next one is solve for x, which is the correct option. The correct option is 4. It is right. X equals 4. You have to solve for s. So which is the correct option? That is s equals 1. The correct option is 1. The correct option is yes, negative 2 it is, right? The next one is solve for u, that is square root negative 7u equals square root 10 minus 2u. So which is the correct option? The correct option is yes, it is negative 2, right? Okay, so we were working on grade 9 math. The chapter we're working on is radical equations and functions. The lessons we have covered today are solve radical equations part 1, then evaluate a radical function, then determine range of theoretical functions, and the one I've just finished is solve radical equations part 2, right? So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session, right? So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday 5 to 9, or either you can join me in the interactive session that would be daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10, right? So if you have any question related to the lessons we have just finished, you can ask. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any, right? No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.